um, ear acupressure, ear reflexology. It's really called auricular medicine. And a lot of people through the years have asked me, how did I get into reflexology? And the way I got into reflexology is I was doing a lot of plumbing for this friend of mine, Dr. Edward Williams. He was a dentist, and he had several buildings. And he said, "Well, Wayne, if you learn how to do massages," we became pretty good friends. And he said, "Wayne, if you learn how to do massages, I'll let you have an office in one of my buildings." So I say, "Wow, Dr. Williams." So I had a few books on massage because I used to study everything. I used to study astrology. I used to study numerology and a whole lot of things. And one of the books I was studying too was what? Um, well, a lot of other books. So anyway, um, so I was in a hurry one day, and I said, "Dag, I want to be the best in massage." So I said, "Well, let me start with the feet first and move up the body." And I happened to see about 5 books on the feet. I didn't have time to look through the books, and so I bought all of them. I think it was only, might have been only 5 because they really didn't have a lot of books on at the time. So anyway, it might have been 5 books. So I bought the books, and I thought about massaging the feet, and here it was, this reflexology. So I started reading one of the books, and this girl that I was seeing, she said, "Boy, my sinuses are killing me." I said, "Well, Dad, I saw something in a book about sinuses." I said, "Let me see your feet." So I found all these sore spots in her feet, and 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 then when she went to, then I kind of put her to sleep too. So which I didn't care for that, but uh, when she woke up, she said my sinuses aren't bothering me, and they didn't bother her no more that summer. So then I would be reading the books, and I would see people and with different problems, headaches, toothaches, backaches, and I would ask them, say, "Can I try some reflexology on you?" And they say, "Well, it won't hurt." So I would try it, and they would tell me that their aches and pains went away. And I'd say, "I can't believe this." So I started reading more, and then I started trying to push the wrong spots, and they wouldn't say ouch, or it didn't hurt. But then when I pushed the right spots, that corresponding to the book, that would say, well, it was like, say if it was the knee point, I would push these points in the fingers for the knees, and these points would be sore. And then I would squeeze them, and then they would say the knees don't hurt no more. Because, for a long time, I thought people were just playing games with me. Because I was pretty healthy, because I was yeah, I was about 33 at the time, and I was super healthy because I always worked out and I exercised all the time, and I didn't eat. They used to have to whoop me to make me eat. So I wasn't, I didn't eat a lot. So anyway, I was in pretty good shape because, well, I was only 135 pounds when I graduated from high school at 20. But anyway, I was 5'8", like a dunk of volleyball. So, and now that I see that Spud Webb can dunk a volleyball, I say, "Oh my goodness, he was only 5'6". But anyway, so I kept reading more and more books. I found a guy that said that he was supposed to get a bypass. I say, I saw some stuff in the book about hearts. So I started working his points. His points were sore, and he didn't need the bypass. And matter of fact, I've stopped 9 people that needed bypasses, and they didn't have to get the bypasses. Well, they went back and forth to the doctor, and they never had to get the bypass. Only one of them, the doctor told him he still needed it. So he said, "Well, Wayne, when you start pressing my hand, my chest stopped hurting." So I had to kind of listen to what you were saying. So he said he went and had a second opinion, and the other doctor wanted to know what the doctor's name was, and they told him he didn't need to bypass, and told him to stop taking his medication. So when he came back and told me about it, I said, well, probably what happened was that doctor knew what he saw prior, and all of the other tests he was taking were, so when he took the test to say you needed a bypass later on, after your chest stopped hurting, he probably didn't take a real test. So that's probably what happened there. But been, I've gotten amazing results. I've seen people that were double over talking about their chest was hurting, and I pressed the heart points, and they they would be all right, because I was at in Twinsburg one time, and I saw a guy. He was doubled over, so I jumped over the fence and said, "Give me your left hand." What is a heart? He said, "Yeah, I've had a couple heart attacks." I said, "Give me your left hand." Started pressing it. By that time, they had called for the paramedics to come, and when they got there, the man was okay. And so what they did is they told him to uh, go on to the nurse and go to the doctor, and he was okay after that. But I've had several occasions where different things have happened. So this is why for all these years I've been so emphatic with this reflexology. I mean, it's like what can I say? It's like it's almost like a curse because I can't I can't stop bothering people. People hate to take me places because, but I've learned to do better because at one time I couldn't go to the store and come out of the store and not bother somebody. So a lot of people don't want to be bothered. But I've since now I'm sure I'm probably 90%. If I were to see 100 people, I would be able to help 90% of them, and maybe more. Because some days I get for long periods of time I get 100%, and every now and then I'll miss. But one day, what about 3 weeks ago, I missed 3 people in a row. I couldn't believe it. I mean, this I hadn't done that in a long time. I mean, usually I don't miss anybody, but that day for some reason, and one of them was my daughter. Another one was a lady at the bank. She said it helped her for a few seconds, and then it came back, and I forgot who the other one was. But anyway, I think he had a back problem, and I'm usually real good with the backs. You know, especially after I started doing the sciatic nerve. Although one time I had a real bad back sprain, and it took me a long time to get rid of it. But see, I like it instantly. If I once I touch your hands and I say, I pull my hands away and I say, "How do you feel now?" That's what I like. I've had people that I've worked on and tried to stop them from hurting, and then the next time I see them, say, it stopped hurting a half hour after you left, but I like the instant. I like the instant. That's why when I take a selfie, when I take a testimonial, I've just worked on the person, and then I asked them. I say, would you give me a testimonial? And then that's where I get majority of my testimonials, because the majority of my testimonials are from complete strangers. That's what the majority of them are, because people who know me, they don't come to me. They don't, you know, they don't. I mean, I mean, it's like that with the people in Ohio. But when I was up in Illinois, it wasn't like that, because when I worked in the cafeteria, I mean, when I would go to the cafeteria, I'd have 7 or 8 people waiting on me daily, in line, you know, trying to get me to work on them. And when I come back here to Twinsburg, they were running for me again. They said, "Oh shoot," you know, they be limping, and I see them trying not to limp, and they be running. I mean, they ducking me and stuff because they know I was gonna come over and ask them what's wrong and try to- also I don't understand it. In Illinois, they didn't act like that. In Ohio, it's like that. And then one time I went to New York, and I got out the car, and people kind of acted like they do in Ohio. Although in Ohio, people will act like that, but they eventually let me work on them. But in New York, I don't think I worked on anybody, you know. So, and I approached about 3 or 4 people I know. So, but yeah, so I'm gonna try to keep doing these testimonials and these videos to try to get reflexology out there, because it works so well for me. I know it'll work great for the doctors because they know what the body is, and plus they're a lot smarter than I am. So, but or I don't know, maybe God had just gifted me in that direction. You know, it's like, you know. So I don't know. Okay, I'm on. This is today is December. Um, I think it's December 8th, 2015. I told you I wasn't a record scientist.